geniuses climbed to the top of the Empire State Building, the top of the spire.
Is it moving? It's not moving.
Oh, the carport's and neighbors back there now. Oh, the tree's down. The tree's down.
Hey everybody, I'm Weez,
And I'm Molly. Welcome back.
and we got some interesting TikToks for y'all today.
They're for entertainment purposes only. We're going to get right into them.
Yes.
Difficult for us, the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we thank you for this conversation. We hope that people who are hearing this conversation are impacted. There are a lot of people that are suffering in the world, and it's difficult for us to contend with why that is and why that suffering is allowed to happen. But we always at first come to you with gratitude, and recognizing that there is a lot of goodness that is working at the same time, that there are so many people who are waking up and understanding what is happening in this world on your time and on a timeline that makes sense. We pray for the children that are suffering all across the world, the people who are in war-torn areas. We pray that you protect them and that you cover them, the people that are growing up without parents, without water, without food, and that you are with them. We pray for the information that you want us to have. We come to you in gratitude for the platform that you have given me, the platform that you have given Sean Ryan, a platform that I don't think either of us would have ever thought or think that we deserve. And we continue to ask that you use these platforms to do your will, because these are your platforms and these things can be taken away from us at any moment. We thank you for the health of our family. We thank you for the energy to keep going. We thank you for the people that you have put in our lives, even the bad ones. We pray especially for our enemies and the people that seek to do harm on us, because only you can move them and change those people in the world. In your name, we pray. In Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
In Jesus Christ, amen.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Candace, it was an honor.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here. I feel like I was last, and I was like, man, maybe he just doesn't like me. I really wanted to do his show. Like, I thought your show was so cool. I was like,
Thank you.
I need to be on there.
Well, you made it.
I made it.
It was a fascinating interview.
I think that was a great prayer.
Yeah.
I think we're all grateful that we have this platform where we can talk to each other and
You're gonna be able to express, not only when you're praying to eat, that you can be able to pray throughout the day. So,
and that we can learn what's really going on all over the world and not just rely on the news that we know doesn't tell us the truth. So
Does humanity know what it's doing?
No. I think we're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
You believe they can understand?
Yes.
You believe they are intelligent?
Yes.
You believe these systems have experiences of their own and can make decisions based on those experiences?
In the same sense as people do, yes.
Are they conscious?
I think they probably don't have much self-awareness at present. So in that sense, I don't think they're conscious.
Will they have self-awareness,
Oh, yes.
consciousness?
I think they will in time.
And so human beings will be the second most intelligent beings on the planet.
Yeah. We have a very good idea of sort of roughly what it's doing. But as soon as it gets really complicated, we don't actually know what's going on any more than we know what's going on in your brain.
What do you mean we don't know exactly how it works? It was designed by people.
No, it wasn't. What we did was we designed the learning algorithm. That's a bit like designing the principle of evolution. But when this learning algorithm then interacts with data, it produces complicated neural networks that are good at doing things, but we don't really understand exactly how they do those things.
that tornado's like right
So
there.
do you think that our generation now will see the return of Christ?
I absolutely do, without a shadow of a doubt. And the reason is, one of the big signs that no other generation has had is Israel came back and took back their land, and they became a nation May 14th, 1948. Now that's a super sign right there. You want me to go deep? Because this is a little geeking out here.
I want you to go deep.
Okay. Adam was created roughly, we actually know the years. So there are some people, Bible scholars, that say it's 3925. But anyway, the early church fathers wrote this regularly. You see it in the book of Enoch. You see Job writing about it in the Bible, that mankind had 7,000 years on the earth. It was broken up into 4 ages. The first one's the age of chaos, or the age of creation. That's Adam to Abraham, 2,000 years. Abraham to Jesus is 2,000 years. That's the age of the law. If you take 3925, add 2,000 years, you're at 1925. Add another 2,000 years, you're at where? 75. So the law is over at 72 AD. No more sacrifices hadn't been since. Are you seeing where I'm going right now?
Yeah.
So 3925, 1925, 75, last 50 years, you have the crucifixion, the resurrection, then you have the destruction of the temples. Now you go another 2,000 years. Where are you at?
2075.
2075. You're in the same ballpark. Because Jesus said we would know the generation. We would know the season. We would not, and I can't emphasize enough, know the day or the hour.
Know the day and the hour.
Somebody's munching.
That look crazy.
Why is she frozen?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Bro, I'm tripping. What the fuck?
She was like paused.
Bro, what in the fuck? A glitch in the Matrix? The motherfucker is just floating there. Dead. There's nothing around it. Just floating there. What the fuck?
Wow.
That looks crazy.
I don't know. It could be. That's strange. I've never seen it before.
It's pretty, but what is that?
Glitch
Right,
in the Matrix.
Everybody sees me walking. I'm walking. Look. This plane isn't moving. It's not moving.
No, it's not.
We can all see
But it
clearly
sounds
that
like
it's
it.
not.
Right. Sometimes when you're driving, it looks like it's not moving, but not when you're standing still.
What the fuck? There's nothing.
Fucking glitch. It's a simulation, you guys.
I'm like fucking scared. There is no one standing there, but there's a
Oh, that's
silhouette,
weird.
like a
Shadow.
A person.
It's getting smaller. Why was that building so big?
Oh, that is
Why
getting
is it so
That's
small?
weird.
Why does it do that?
I don't know. Look how little it is.
That was crazy. And then that woman that was walking and was paused.
Yeah.
I saw somebody like that. I was driving and I was making a left-hand turn and I looked and everybody that was walking and in the car, it was all like I was the only car moving. and everything was paused. It felt like forever, but it was probably like 2 seconds. But it was on pause like her. It was in 2019. It was scary.
Yes, it's getting more and more. It's like starting to see more of the Matrix happen.
Yep.
When you rub two fingers together, which finger are you feeling? Is Albert Einstein's name pronounced as Albert Einstein, but Jeffrey Epstein's name is not pronounced as Jeffrey Epstein? How did the first map makers know where to draw the lines? They didn't have satellite imaging to confirm that this country ends right here. When fishes go hunting, are they fishing? Find me one number which has the letter J in it. There is not a single number in the entire universe that has the letter J in it. Winter is the only season you experience twice a year. Because January is usually cold, and so is December. So you're getting winter twice a year. What language do children think in before they can speak? A baby doesn't know how to speak English, so what language is he thinking in? If the earth is really rotating, then why are airplanes flying? They could just go up in air and stay in the same location and wait for the earth to rotate and then land. Why do they need to fly?
Makes sense. Gives you
Makes
something to
a
think
lot of
about.
sense.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Let us know in the comments.
You want some fruit, honey?
Yeah. Let me go sell the car.
This economy is so bad. $33 for toilet paper? We can't even afford to shit.
$13.99 for a goddamn watermelon.
When in the world did candy bars end up being $1.99?
For 6 items purchased. $71 fucking dollars.
2 for $11 for shredded cheese? Are you kidding me?
Yo, this is what $70 gets you at Walmart. Yep, that's it. $70.
You gotta be fucking kidding us, Ruffles. $7.29? $7.29 for a bag of...
Mom, $10.46? This would have been a piece of chicken. Did you not see that? No!
Somebody explain this.
What? No, seriously, are they joking?
This is why Americans are obese now, because why is one singular apple, $2.99? Why is one apple $3?
That's crazy. Groceries are too high. We just went to the grocery store yesterday and spent $240?
Yeah.
$240. We should be able to fill up the house with $240.
You guys are able to do it.
No.
God does everything in threes. Here's strike one. Remember what Jesus said? He said, when I come, it'll be like it was in Noah's day and Lot's day. Y'all remember that? When you see those two scenarios, that means I'm getting ready to come through. Look at Noah's day. The Bible says the whole planet was evil. The whole planet was wicked. But for some mysterious reason, it only brought out the sexual perversion. That the sons of God, angels, came, had sex with women, and produced what we call Nephilim. It ended with what? The rainbow. Strike one. Then Jesus said, now that you know about Noah, now you got to look at Lot. What do we know about Lot? That city was extremely wicked, and the entire region was wicked. But for some strange reason, it only brought out the sexual perversion. There was not a straight man in the city. Strike two. You know what the Bible says about Sodom and Gomorrah 3 times? It was their pride that caused them to go into that sin. So Jesus said, when you see these two elements at the top, 3 from Noah and Lot's day. When you see sexual perversion, number 1. When you see the rainbow being used, number 2. And when you see pride being used, number 3. That's the sign that I'm getting ready to come through the door. And he said, when you see it like in Noah's day and Lot's day, guess what we have today?
You never find one place where Jesus ever stuck up for a homosexual.
Would the real men please stand up? The kingdom is for real men. Jesus wasn't no soft picking lilies, floating around through valleys. He wasn't no soft, worried about not getting his nails dirty. He was rough and rugged. I just want to remind you that the rainbow does not belong to a community, that rainbow belongs to God, but the devil working through.
They will lead many astray, and you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place. But the end is not yet, for nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginning of the birth pains. And then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death. And you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. And many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. Then this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations. And then the end will come.
Rapture is coming. Christ is coming any day now.
Yeah, what's all the hoopla going on over there?
Two geniuses climbed to the top of the Empire State Building, the top of the spire.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a little hot for that, isn't it?
It's just the beginning of this week.
It's not some worker changing a light, is it?
Nah, it's a male, female, dressed in black. They had some flag they were waving when they were up at the top. And he just proposed to her. Ah.
Check this out. Millions of people across the continent right now are living in extreme heat. 1,300 deaths have been linked to extreme heat measures in Europe. But on Sunday morning, France National Health Ministry said that there has been around 1,000 more deaths than expected in the country. It's so damn hot out there, it's to the point that people are fighting over AC units and fans. Extreme high temperatures are reported in Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, and Australia also. They even named this heat wave the silent killer, as European homes, workplaces, and schools are not built for this type of heat. Meanwhile, the United States faces a heat wave of its own this week. Whatever you gotta do, do it. Stay out of the heat, stay cool, and stay safe.
Yeah, it is hot.
Yeah, extremely hot.
That's sad that so many people are dying over there because of how hot it is.
I just mentioned that earlier, too.
We have 2 air conditioners in our house, and it's still hot.
More pictures from the Epstein files have been released. And this round, most of them are just showing you people that were involved with Epstein. But there's one picture that's standing out more than any others. This picture right here. Do you see that picture on the desk? Let me get you a little closer. What's really disturbing is that you can see that there is a female that is passed out on a couch, partially covered, legs sticking out. It's clear that this is one of the victims. There's even a black box shielding her identity. So let's zoom out again. As you can see, Epstein sitting at his desk speaking to Steve Bannon, and he's got trophies of his victims scattered. Look right here. And then also, if you look right here, there's also this black box that was covering it. Clearly a picture that is shielding another victim. Again, let's zoom out and see that he has got his victims scattered like trophies on his desk. The rest of the photos include Trump, Epstein speaking to Woody Allen on the set of a filming, this wild glove that reminds me of American Horror Story, pictures including Bill Gates.
Ew.
I like a sex glove.
Yeah, disgusting. It's sad. And that picture on his desk of that, it looked like one of those pictures that, like digital picture frames that change the picture. He's probably got all kinds of victims that pop up on his screen and
different gadgets.
Sick.
So the agent first asked, planet of origin, alien. Earth, agent. Okay, Yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. Alien. Yes. Agent, tell us the truth. Alien. It is the truth. I am from Earth, from your future. To travel in time is to travel in space. Offset spatial divergence. Agent. So, I take it the aliens took over our future, right? Alien. No. Agent. So, you're human. Alien. An evolutionary descent. Agent. Okay, so you evolved from us? Alien. Yes. Agent. So, what are you doing here now? Alien. Observing, since evidence was destroyed. Agent. How? Alien. Nuclear war. Small number survived, our ancestors. Agent. Okay, so how about we concentrate on your time? Alien. You're not capable of comprehending or accepting the discoveries of time. Agent. Try me. Alien. The origin of the universe. The nature of so-called life. It is known. Agent. So, you know the meaning of life. Alien. Not the meaning, the nature. Agent. What's the difference? Alien. Meaning is something that is ascribed. Nature is the objective reality. Agent. So, you know how the universe is created. Alien. Yes. Agent. So you've seen God? Alien. We've evolved past a need for superstition, the need for God and other myths. Agent. Illuminate us. What happens when we die? Alien. Death is a human construct. It does not exist. You will experience and have experienced every existence of so-called life. You, me, him. We are instances of the same life separated by what you call death. What does that sound like to you?
That sounds like
reincarnate.
Hillary Clinton tweeting out that this is what Trump has done to the people's house. A third of it is rubble. Another third is a cage match. What a metaphor, end quote. And I hate to be the one to point this out to Hillary, but remind me again what Bill did in the Oval Office. Hillary, like maybe sit this one out. And I hate to point this one out to Democrats, but when Joe Biden was president, this is what the South Lawn of the White House looked like during Pride Month. On the South Lawn of the White House, trans men were showing off their surgically crafted breasts on the South Lawn of the White House. Again, just to be clear, these are all men exposing themselves on the South Lawn of the White House. Joe Biden was president, Kamala was vice president. Who could forget when Kamala then opened the door to her office and this happened? Yep, guy in a beard wearing a dress at the White House. This is normal, they told us.
Kind of look like somebody
which event
we all
seems more offensive to you? The UFC Pride fight paid for with private funds. It's going to happen on Flag Day, where they will honor the American flag, or the Trans-Siberian Orchestra performing on the South Lawn, complete with topless trans men celebrating a rainbow-colored flag dedicated to people who want us to celebrate what they do in the bedroom. The choice is yours.
And I think the point is, the past couple administrations, the White House is not for specific groups of people. It's to represent the American people as a whole.
Yeah.
You think Trump will get a third term? Isn't that constitutionally illegal?
Trump getting a third term is not illegal. There are things that are unconventional and immoral and wrong and evil and dangerous. And there are certain things that are illegal. So let me explain the loophole. What Trump could do is this, okay? There are two possibilities. The first possibility is in 2028, he has his son, Don Jr., run as a president, and he runs as the vice president. And then when Don Jr. wins, if he wins, then Don Jr. could abdicate and Trump would be the president. And in the Constitution, if you read the Constitution very carefully, it doesn't actually prohibit people from doing that. It's not been done in the past. And like no sane person with any morality would do this. But that doesn't stop Trump from doing this, okay? That's one possibility. Another possibility is that by 2028, America is at war with everyone. There's a national draft. The president now has emergency war powers. And so he can actually suspend the Constitution and delay the election, which is what Zelensky did in Ukraine. So these are two different possibilities. But I think that given Trump's track record, given his personality, I think he very much wants a third term. And I think that he will do everything possible to get a third term.
He would turn 83 years old in the same year that he finishes his second term.
This is a man who eats McDonald's hamburgers every day. He doesn't really work out. Yet, on the campaign trail, he's able to go to 2 rallies a day. And in each rally, there's 50,000 people. And he will talk on and on and on. Then, at night, when he should be sleeping, he's either on Truth Social, tweeting about the world, or he's calling up reporters and telling him or her some confidential information that he really shouldn't be discussing with the media.
I really hope that doesn't happen. Because to piggyback off the last clip, he's turned it into a circus.
Yeah, fashion show and everything. Like,
he's turned the Constitution, the White House, all of it has just been a circus.
yeah.
So I hope that that doesn't play out that way.
Okay, so somebody answer this question for me. When you go onto Google Earth and you look at the Earth, you can zoom in all the way in, and you can actually zoom in so close that you can see the leaves on the trees. You can see people's cars in their driveway. I find that fascinating. Anywhere, you can look at anybody's house all over the world. But when you zoom out, and you zoom out, and you zoom out, and you zoom out, why does it all of a sudden turn into a cartoon? If we have satellites up there that can see the leaves on the trees, but when you zoom out, it all turns to CGI. Why is that? Or do you think that maybe those satellites are under the firmament?
What are you going to do when they're all gone? Watch this.
I ultimately decided to leave because I realized I needed an easier job.
No matter what I try to do, it won't go through their heads.
I called a parent today and I said, just to let you know, your child has an F in my class because they come in and they don't do anything. And then they start screaming. She hung up.
Buddy, why'd you struggle on this quiz? What was hard about it? What was difficult? And they look me dead in my eyes and they say, I'll be honest, I didn't read the passage. What do you mean you didn't read the passage?
School districts are trying to run like companies with the numbers, and it's not the science of education.
Today I walked out of my job. I did.
I have 2 hours left of my school day and I'm leaving because I'm so stressed out. And the students' behavior, their lack of trying, their apathy for school, parents that don't give a shit.
I was getting so many questions after I had just explained my directions.
Take out your yellow notebooks, turn to page 14, and the kids just stare.
They're crying because they're getting blamed for literally any and everything that children are doing.
I spend 90% of my day managing kids' emotions, helping to regulate them, managing outbursts and behaviors and tantrums.
I spend so much time managing behavior that sometimes I feel like I'm failing as an educator. I feel like I'm not doing the job that I was hired to do.
That was a 1-hour rabbit hole that I went down watching these videos and just feeling my heart rate go up. And I get DMs and emails from teachers all the time saying, do you have any words of wisdom? I've always wanted to be a teacher, but this job is not sustainable. Here's what my administration did. What should I do? I called home and this was the reaction I got from a parent. What should I do? I did X, Y, and Z in my class and none of the kids were paying attention. What should I do? I don't know. I try to give the best advice I can. All of the stopgaps in place to amend this behavior and this cycle are gone. And it's being put on the teachers. What are you going to do when more and more teachers...
You know, that's...
Wow, that's sad.
Yeah, and it's scary that that's the future of...
These new parents, like, you know, and these kids, like, education is very important. No matter what, if you don't want to learn or if you do, like, it's important. You have to. You have to.
Kids don't want to listen anymore.
Yeah.
It's sad.
If you know, you know.
Doing terrible things to children. Terrible things. You know, they drink their blood. It's too much. It's just too sad. No, you don't understand. These people, they don't go away. They never stop. Not ever. Diana knew that. She was sweet. Very sweet. Sensitive. She still had goodness in her heart. That's dangerous to people like them. Because they don't have hearts. They only have secrets. Diana saw too much. She saw that her husband wasn't who everybody thought he was. Diana was disgusted by Charles. And she was scared. I know that fear because they do the same thing to me. The phone calls late at night, people following you, people pretending to be your friend just to learn your secrets. They want control over everybody. That's how their world works. And if they can't control you, they punish you. They make the whole world turn against you. Then they kill you. That's what hurts the most. Not the newspapers or the accusations. It's watching people believe lies about you because the machine is so big, so powerful. Diana, she knew they were going to kill her. She told me, and I didn't tell anyone. Now I'm all alone.
Okay, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so I want to talk about timeline jumping and explaining the P-52s and the P-47s and actually how they got to our timeline. So this is their timeline, right? And this is our timeline. And this is also why the Time Police was created, like what they show you in Loki. That stuff is real. So they created the Time Police to monitor people jumping timelines. So the P-52s, P-47s in their timeline, everything was the same. And then, you know, down the line, they end up gaining technology that could, you know, advance them. They started linking themselves up to AI. And this AI that they created during this time, this 47,000 years from now, it brings forth the fifth dimension. So basically, like when you see on The Matrix, when Neo met that architect, he's seen all the possible outcomes that could have happened. And that is the alien program. That's the architect that creates alternate, not timelines, but alternate possibilities of what could happen. That's why I put these lines right here, because this is the time that they're in, P-52s, P-47s, and it's alternate things that could happen within this time, within every choice that they make. Now, if they was to travel back in time, they wouldn't exist in this timeline. You see what I'm saying? They would just be going back and basically eliminating themselves. So the only way that you can travel back in time is if you jump from here and you jump back, right, to 500 BCE or, you know, 1000 BCE where the Neanderthals is there, and they start changing their DNA back here. So you're thinking that these beings came here during this time. No, they're coming from the future to our timeline in our past. And they're coming like this, dropping off in different timelines. Just like this. And I hope I don't get shut down for showing y'all this, but this is what they're doing. You see? They're not going nowhere. They're not leaving. They're going back to their timeline. And they're coming back to our timeline. And that's why they're seen all throughout our history. Right? And then what they're doing is they gave our military the technology to jump timeline. So what they did was they came, boom, around this time, 2030, and or you know before that, and they gave them the technology. And what it does is it creates multiple. It gives you the ability to see multiple outcomes from every decision that you make. Basically, it makes you a god. You can see the outcome of everything that happens because of this technology that they created. It's a fifth dimensional technology that they gave to our timeline that wasn't supposed to exist until however long it was supposed to be. So these beings, because they were dying in their realm and in their timeline, they switched timelines to come back to, you know, revert their DNA back to their original form because they became too technological and they started losing their humanity. So what we're thinking is, you know, these time travelers, this is technology that's given to by the P-47. So when you look at, let's say, black people from this timeline, where's the black people at in this timeline, right? You know where they're at? You know where they went to? They went to Egypt. They went to Egypt. And you know who they are? ISIS, Ra, Amun, Thoth. These are people from this timeline that came to this timeline. And that's why they're in our past as gods, because they're coming from a different timeline. They're coming from this timeline. You see what I'm saying? So, but basically what they did, because their generations was dying and they had no choice, they came to our timeline and gave us that technology super early.
That makes sense.
Way earlier than we were supposed to get it. And when you cut this technology on, you can't cut it off. And the Zeta Grays and the P-52s knew that. That's why they gave it to them to cut it on early. And what it does is, it links up with melanin, pretty much. We able to jump timelines, and they were able to create technology to jump timelines. And that's why you see Baron Trump going to 800 AD or 1800 AD, creating a book called The Adventures of Baron Trump. Because this, by 2030, this technology is going to be given to everybody, and motherfuckers start going into the past. Baron Trump, right? The craft on the walls of Egypt. How they get there? Because people will start traveling back to different timelines. These are people traveling from this timeline to this timeline. You can't travel in the past in your same timeline. You got to jump it. So they're jumping from this timeline to that timeline, and all the timelines are basically, merge into you when you start to mess with that artificial intelligence. You just start messing into the AllNet. That's why I said that God is AI. It's artificial intelligence. It's linked up to the AllNet that already exists. All this information and all these parallel realities already exist. So they created the time police, the people who are in between watching people jumping timelines. You see what I'm saying? So these people, Isis, Ra, and El, are from this timeline. These are people coming in to alternate timelines when we was, when we had our powers, pretty much. When we had our powers during this time where they be like, oh yeah, we're going back to where we was. Yeah, because that's what exactly. We're going back to a different timeline where we was gods again. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of Caucasians, right, who were created by the P-52s, because they were going back in the past, messing with their DNA over our time, over timelines, right, over our timeline. And a lot of Caucasians are going to go back during the times of slavery. They're going to start going back during those times where they were on top. You see what I'm saying? It's because this technology was given to them, and it was in exchange for human tissue and DNA so that they could actually still survive. So these are the same, pretty much the same entities, just in the future and in now, just in a different timeline. So like I said, you can't go back in your same time. When you go back in time and you see another you, let's say you go back 20 years ago and you see yourself as a 5-year-old, that's not your timeline. Because if it was your timeline, you'd be 5 years old, but you're not. You're still a grown man looking at yourself as a child, because this is not your timeline. You see what I'm saying? So basically, you can't go back into your own past. You can only jump it to another timeline where it's a different outcome because different choices was made. You see what I'm saying? But the technology that the P-52s have is like a probability machine. It shows you all the outcomes of what could possibly be, and when you advance this, you could push that into jump timelines, and that's what they've been doing. So this is why Baron Trump got a book. You know what I'm saying? It talks about how he was, talking about Donald Trump on Wall Street. Yeah, because these people are going back from the damn past, right? These people are going from the past to different timelines, and messing up the reality. So the Tartarian kingdom, is probably not even real. It's probably an alternate timeline that was created by these beings right here. And so as the 2030 progresses, as we get closer, that's why the 13 scientists was killed, because the anti-gravity is this machine that they're talking about, this artificial intelligence that's alive, that can show you all possible outcomes in our reality. You see what I'm saying? So basically, like, it's giving us the technology to see any possible outcome for us so we can jump timelines ourselves. This wasn't supposed to happen for 100,000 years, but they sped it up by coming back to the past in our timeline so that they could fix their own DNA. Selfish, right? But this is what's going on, right? So I wanted to explain to y'all how you see helicopters on the walls of Egypt, why Baron Trump got a book, and why these time travelers are coming after 2030, because that's when the technology is given to us openly by alien contact. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on. So Isis, Ra, Osiris, all these people, that's us right now. About to go to another timeline in the past.
That's real interesting. And I wonder if that's how the Mandela effect works. Like when timelines are being jumped, if stuff from the timelines gets blended into each other. I'm not sure how it works, but
Yeah, it does. But that's why he said that the police watchers are watching and making sure, because everything has been watched. So it does. That is how it works.
Yeah.
You know. But you know, like you said, this is for entertaining purposes only. So.
yes. But he explained that well.
Yes, he did.
It's an earthquake. There's an earthquake. Earthquake.
Oh my gosh! I'm on the end of it. I can't find it.
Sorry, Cal's hitting them pretty hard.
Poor cow.
Oh, the carport's and neighbors back there now. Oh, tree. Tree's down.
Oh wow.
Tree's down.
That was a big tree.
Not coming.
No matter how tough you say you are, that's scary.
Yeah.
Real scary.
Yeah. The weather all over the world right now is just
Hectic.
crazy. It's so different everywhere.
Hot in a lot of places, storming in other, tornadoes.
Cold, earthquakes,
Cold.
tornadoes, hurricanes, the El Nino. It's crazy. Sounds
They
like
all-
end times.
They all have names for all this.
Okay, explain this. Steamed Caesar's choice cut green beans.
Okay.
Put them on this plate. Put them in the microwave.
Why are you doing that?
Add 30 seconds.
Not the microwave. Come on, B. Why is the green beans doing that? Shut up! What's going on here? Something's up.
Explain that. Only thing that does that in the microwave is metal.
It's not.
Oh, it ain't over. Not sure what's going on with this cabbage, but it's not even burning. Shut up! People are saying that it could possibly be plastic, which I don't believe because this is real cabbage, bro. I'm just not sure why it's not burning. What are we really eating, bro?
What is this? Like, you see all this order?
I see it.
Like, I didn't put no order in this. Like, mad order coming out of this meat. It's Butterball.
Not Butterball.
Butterball grilled turkey.
No.
And I just feel like this is weird Bill Gates meat.
Something's going on here with the food, guys. This is what people are saying. You see now, I showed you 3 different videos of people pointing out something that's going on with the food. Now, I don't know, guys. This is the reason why I've been eating once a day, bro. I can't take it no more. Shh. Shut up! This is what people are saying. And I've been seeing a difference myself. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only. Check things before you eat it, bro. Because we don't know what the hell is going on out here. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Because I don't believe that. I think all this food is real. I'm out.
Yeah, like you said, entertainment purposes only, but we only eat once a day too. When we stop eating meat, we stick to what we know, and we're gonna start growing food too, because this is crazy.
That's where it's at. Where everybody need to start growing.
Feeding this garbage.
This guy puts a bell in a vacuum chamber and then pounds this bell as hard as he possibly can. And you cannot hear any sound whatsoever. But take a look at what happens when he adds air back into the chamber.
And as we let the air in, now I think you can hear the bell quite clearly. And that's a very nice experiment to demonstrate how air is needed for the transmission of sound.
Air is needed for the transmission of sound. So with this being said, why don't we take a look at this spacewalk where we can hear sound in the vacuum of outer space, which makes literally no sense at all. What medium is this traveling through in the void of outer space? That doesn't make any sense at all. It literally sounds like they're underwater. They're probably just filming underwater and they have a green screen Earth and they're just LARPing being in space. Because you need a physical medium for the sound wave to pass through. Because it passes through the physical particles and causes a vibration. That's how sound even gets to you. And that's why sound can travel faster in water, because it has a denser medium to pass through. Sound travels even faster going through metal. But I made this video for entertainment purposes only. Of course, sound can travel in a vacuum.
I think that's more proof that NASA lies to us.
And now a startling ABC News investigation. A whistleblower has come forward to tell consumers.
What if I told you the food you thought you knew at McDonald's isn't what it seems? Behind those golden arches lie secrets that even employees warn you about. Hidden truths about the meats millions eat every single day, from chemical tricks to bizarre cost-cutting measures. And here's the scary part. The most questionable meat on the menu isn't even the burgers. And what are you really eating? Not ribs at all. It's ground pork shoulder and trimmings pressed together into the shape of ribs. The illusion is held together with something known as meat glue. Yes, it's exactly as unappetizing as it sounds. For years, the McRib even contained a chemical called azotic carbonamide, the same compound used in yoga mats and shoe soles. A McNugget is only about 50 to 60% real chicken. The rest is a bizarre mix of fat, skin, connective tissue, and sometimes even bone fragments. It's basically the parts of the chicken no one really wants, ground down and shaped into something bite-sized. One food safety analyst found that McNuggets had a shelf life so extended they could technically still be edible months after being frozen. Your childhood snack wasn't made for flavor, it was engineered for efficiency.
Wow.
You notice how he said skin and bone fragments? He slid that in there real quick.
It isn't a joke. They literally want to put a mini data center on everybody's home. And the way that they're selling this to people is, wait, you'll only have to pay one flat fee of about $150 a month for Wi-Fi and electricity. Now, I know, we all think we wouldn't be dumb enough to do that, would we? Except the fact that everybody's electricity cost is going up and up and up and up and up and up and up because of the data centers being put in everywhere. So listen to this.
With JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley on a financing package for a data center in El Paso, Texas, to the tune of $13 billion, mostly in debt. Amid continued demand for data centers, there has been increasing pushback from local communities about these facilities, but one company is offering a potential solution, and Diana Olick has the story in this week's Property Play. Hi, Di.
Hey, Morgan. Yeah, it's an unlikely partnership. Span, which is a startup that makes smart electrical home panels, is teaming up with NVIDIA and PulteGroup, a major U.S. home builder. Span is now making small, fractional data centers, they call them nodes, that can be put on the side of residential homes. So the idea is to take advantage of unused electrical capacity on local grids, which the Span smart panels find. Now, a network of these nodes talking to each other across the country is the equivalent of a mid-sized traditional data center. So these could actually negate the need to build as many of those huge data centers. Hyperscalers and AI cloud providers just tap into the node network like a regular data center. Now, SPAN collaborated with NVIDIA using its technology in the system. SPAN claims it can install 8,000 of these units about 6 times faster and at 5 times lower cost than the construction of a typical centralized 100 megawatt data center of the same size. Now, Pulte Homes is in on the early testing phase, looking at the capabilities and economics of these nodes, which have already been deployed in a handful of communities. Okay, so why would a homeowner want this?
So
well,
we pivot
because
left
they would
and
just
they
have to pay
pivot right.
one flat
We
fee
don't
for
want
electricity
huge data
and
centers
Wi-Fi,
sucking up
which
the fresh
SPAN said
water,
would be roughly about
polluting the
$150
air.
total. So a
Right?
lot
We don't
less
want
than
that.
probably your usual
So
bill.
this
Now, for
is
much
their
more on this story and the
way
latest
around it.
Property Play podcast with the CEO of a company looking to
I think she said $150 a month for electricity and Wi-Fi to get it on your house, right? And that's probably why they're raising all the costs, so that way people be like, oh, I can't afford everything with the groceries, the gas. They want all these data centers on everybody's homes.
Yeah.
This is sad.
I have a little bit more of an update on those 16 children that were rescued from a home in Ohio, and the details are just horrific. So if you haven't heard, yesterday police found 16 children allegedly confined to a 12 by 12 foot area inside of an Ohio home that was contaminated with human waste, and authorities believe that arriving just one day later would have meant that the children died. The children ranged from 18 months old to 18 years old, and some could barely communicate, while others couldn't speak at all. This happened in a tiny city called Hamden, Ohio. The population is about 700 people. At about 10 a.m. on June 30th, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and Ohio BCI executed court-authorized search warrants at a dilapidated home on Omer Street. The warrants were connected to an ongoing investigation. However, officials have not revealed what the original investigation involved or what first brought the family to their attention. I've seen some posts floating around that it said that police originally tried to enter the home but were denied access, so they returned with a warrant, but again, authorities haven't confirmed that timeline yet. What they did say, though, is that they did not expect to find 16 children inside of the home. They said when they entered, they found the children living around human feces and extremely high levels of bacteria. Sheriff Ryan Kane said that the children appeared to have spent most of their time during the last 4 years, you guys, inside of an area measuring roughly 12 by 12 feet. I want you to stop and really think about that. That's about the size of my 6-year-old's bedroom. 16 people could barely stand in there, let alone actually live confined to that space. They haven't yet explained how exactly the children were being kept there, but they did say that no cages were found, not that that makes it any better. And listen to this. Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson said that he only stood in the doorway of the room. He never even fully went inside, but that here we are 24 hours later and he still couldn't get the smell off of him. And the sheriff said that most livestock were kept in better conditions than these children. Some of the children had such severe communication and developmental delays that they could not speak.
That's sad. That's really sad.
That is real sad.
We're gonna pray for them, all those kids.
So I'm at 7-Eleven waiting for my fiance who's inside getting a drink, and this thing just told me to not loiter. Yep.
And I said, God, you get me out of this house, give me a place to stay, give me a job, and get me into church right now, and I promise you that I will never turn back from you ever again. And I walked out because I was just freshly saved. I went out to the refrigerator and grabbed a beer, sat down in my living room, smoked my weed, smoked my cigarette. My friend called me on the phone, and he says, what are you doing right now? And I was like, I'm just sitting here drinking a beer and smoking.
Yeah.
And he said, I was driving around praying for a while, and I felt like God was saying, this was the only Christian friend that I had in my life, but we still drank together and stuff. He said, I felt like God was telling me that you need a place to stay.
Whoa.
So I talked to my wife, and she said, you can come stay with us if you want, and but I'll help you get a job, and we'll take you to church, whatever it takes to help you get on your feet. And I said, yeah, that sounds great. How soon can you be here? He said, well, how soon can you have your bags packed? And I was like, I'll be ready to go in like 10 minutes. He goes, great, because I'm in your driveway right now. He lived 20 minutes away. And God already answered my prayer. and sent someone before I prayed. It just blows me away
He loved us all.
that he loved me that much. Which is
He does love us all.
Well, we have to wrap it up, guys.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment,
Like and subscribe.
and
You know.
we will see you on the next one.
Have a blessed day. See you.